What up, classmates? It's your boy Billy the Bad Guy. And you know I love talking about my favorite subject, sex, 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 sex. And we have our kink advisor in the building today. He's going to help us find our kinks. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for the Sir Leezus.
Ooh, I appreciate the warm welcome. I definitely appreciate the welcome.
Well, thank you for stopping by. I have so many things I want to talk to you about. Like on this podcast, we
Let's
study
get it.
relationships, we study dating, we study mental health. But I love studying sex, and you help people find their kinks.
Yes. That is my thing. Normalizing kink.
Normalize.
So my find your kink is based off of me wanting to normalize kink.
Okay.
Because too many of us in the POC community, it is seen as abnormal to want to do something different outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, outside of what society has deemed to be normal, traditional sex. And it's okay to spice it up. It's okay to think outside the box. It's okay to want to be different, want to explore different things.
Yeah.
It's 100% okay. So I want to normalize kink. So to find your kink came into place because we were normalizing kink. So let's help people find their kink.
So what would you say is your favorite kink right now or recently?
My favorite kink, if I got to go with the simplest thing, would probably be impact play and spanking. So that's probably my favorite kink is spanking.
Impact play. Well, I'm not vanilla, but I want to explore and I need to educate myself. #study sex.
Okay. As you should.
To be prepared for this. And I've been about to tap into the role playing. I learned, I don't know if you ever met her. Her name is Jody.
Jody. I know a couple of Jodys.
Oh, well, she has a podcast she's from Chicago. She's a sexologist.
Okay.
And she told me, like, role playing don't have to be hard. I'm a manager at my real job. So I could act like a manager when I'm role playing.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yo, you're not doing this properly. Suck my dick. And I can role play like that. That's easy. There's a lot of times I be wanting to tell these folks, suck my dick. You're getting on my nerves.
A lot of people, the baseline of BDSM is basically role playing. The power exchange is role playing. You have a dominant figure, you have a submissive figure.
Right.
And you're stepping into that character. Sometimes people do it designated times. They might have it just in a bedroom. You come into the bedroom, we're going to role play. I'm going to be a dominant figure. You're going to be a submissive figure. So a lot of that, the role play is brought into the BDSM community. Okay. You know what I mean?
So is there a name for mine? I like golden shower. So I don't like it. I just did it 1, 2, maybe.
So do you like it or did you just do it a couple of times? It's a big difference.
I like the dominance of it. Like I like I didn't pee on them. I was the victim of the peeing. So I like the fact that I was able to be a submissive person, and it just showed that person was a dominant person. I loved it. Like,
so being a submissive is a kink itself.
Okay.
That might be your kink. I want to be submissive. I want to have a power exchange with someone. I want to be dominated. I want to be topped. So that might be your particular kink, just being in a state of submission, having someone take control and control the situation. That you don't have to be, like I said, you don't have to be in a BDSM community to want to have that power exchange. This is why I say I do erotic power exchange. I'm an expert in erotic power exchange because you don't have to be in a BDSM to experience that. You can just have a partner and say, hey, I want you to be dominant to me and I want this activity to happen.
Okay.
So your first thing is seeing the energy that you want to, if you're going to be the person that applies it or the person that receives it. And then you think of the activity that turns you on, whether it's being choked, being spanked, water sports, or you're being peed on. You know what I mean? So you just find what your actual activity is, and then you figure out what part of this dynamic do I want to indulge in. Do I want to be the dominant figure or do I want to be the submissive figure?
Now, we were speaking about this off camera, and I'm interested in voyeurism.
Okay.
Where does that come from? Why am I into that? What is it?
So this is one of the simplest and oldest kinks because people like to watch. People like to imagine them being in the space of the other person or the other people, and they like to watch from afar. Same way we watch porn. Right? Same way even if like you see something and you're not supposed to, but you can see it, you're kind of looking like, okay, let me be quiet so I don't get caught watching. But then some people intentionally go to feed that desire. Like they'll go to swingers clubs to watch people engage in sexual activities, right? So now you're feeding that desire because your kink is being a voyeur. You know, you like to watch, so now you're intentionally doing it. That's when it becomes a kink, when you start to intentionally do it. You know what I mean? It becomes part of your lifestyle when it comes to exploring sex. So you say, okay, it's Friday night. I want to go out. I'm going to go to a place where it's acceptable for me to watch people engage in sex. Now I'm intentionally doing it. I'm doing it on purpose. It just didn't happen. And I saw it. I was turned on. I went here specifically for that.
Okay.
So now you're finding your kink.
Who first introduced you into BDSM and kink? And was it something you discovered on your own?
So it was a passive situation when I found out about BDSM.
Okay.
I've been in the swinger lifestyle for about 20 years. So going to parties, going to events, and seeing these parties that would have a BDSM aspect going on, you know, and there was a lot of, mostly when I first got introduced to it, it was more of a, you know, a white crowd. So, and most of the tops were women. So it was a lot of dominant women, dominates, dominatrix, and they were putting events together. But I would see it as passive entertainment at the swinger parties that I was going to.
Okay.
So that's what made it spark my interest, just seeing that and, you know, and consistently seeing it too. Like, okay, I just love the lure of the power exchange is what I gravitated toward. It wasn't really the acts of, you know, maybe flogging or spanking, or it was just the whole power exchange, just having a dominant figure and a submissive figure. And that relationship and that encounter was what I was attracted to. So when I started to indulge myself, it was for personal reasons in the bedroom. So it was bedroom BDSM for me. So I started educating myself just to do this with my partner in the bedroom. There was no thought about doing it professional. Definitely no thought about performing it live or anything like that. It was literally, I like what I see. I want to learn this. I want to have that power to be able to do this and learn how to do it safely, correctly, consensually.
Let's talk about it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. You said you mentioned you was in the swingers for about 20 years?
So 20 years, right out of college, yeah, I got into the swinger community.
What is the swinger community like? And what is the biggest misconception about swingers?
So the biggest misconception I would say is probably people think that everybody is just having sex. And that's not necessarily the case.
Okay.
Everybody's not for everybody. People are there to find someone that they vibe with physically, energy-wise, and then they choose who they play with. It's not a situation where you can just go and you're automatically going to be able to have sex with somebody.
Right.
So I would say that is the biggest misconception, is thinking that I'm going to go to this party, I'm guaranteed to have sex, which is not the case. Because I've been to several parties and I haven't done anything. You know what I mean? I've been to parties to where I've had an orgy with 7 girls. So you never know. It's all about the vibe, the energy. And then you kind of move to what you're looking for. I might be looking for something specific when I go to a club. So that changes, you know, depending on where you're at and, you know, where you're at that point of your life. You know what I mean? So
if I'm like a person who's studying and interested in all these kind of things, want to be a swinger, want to go to a swingers club, want to go to a play party, where do I find this information?
So I would say my first advice would be to Google and figure out where your local actual swingers clubs are. I always advise, I used to do a swinger 101 class. And my first advice is don't go to a party. Don't go to a house party first. Don't go to a hotel takeover first. Go to an actual club.
Okay.
See what it's like at a club. See what it's like where people have to get dressed. They have a certain type of etiquette there, and it's the standard etiquette across the country when it comes to a club.
Okay.
If you do a private party, the rules are catered to that person that's hosted.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier to see the do's and don'ts when you're at a club, to where they have to have their rules a whole lot more stricter, you know, because, you know, they have some type of listing and, you know, they're membership based, you know what I mean? It's not just a random party you're showing up to. So going to the club, learning the etiquette. FetLife is a good place to look for events. You can always see what's going on, but look for the clubs that are hosting events. Go to the websites. You can always lifestyle club in your area. In every major city, there is a swingers club. So you can go to a club in any major city, and I would say start there. And if you can get into a group, go to a meet and greet. Go to something that is not going to be sexually based, but it has people that are into the lifestyle. Because if you go to a meet, you're going to meet people. You're going to be able to ask the questions. And I would rather ask you a question to where we're at a bar sitting, hanging out, as opposed to we being butt naked and there's all types of activities going on. And now I'm trying to ask you, hey, well, how do I approach somebody? You see what I'm saying?
I have, It's so crazy that I'm thinking about it. When I was younger, I was in my early 20s, mid 20s. I was talking to this guy, but we was just hooking up.
Yeah.
And then we always kept on saying, like, I want to host a sex party, but it had to be invite only. Like, invite only. You invite your friends, I invite my friends. Let's do it. But then I chickened out because I felt like I thought about the legal aspect of it. Of what if the cops come shut us down? I don't want to go to jail for. Is this trafficking? I didn't know if I could host my own party.
Well, if you're hosting a party and you're just charging an entry fee to get into the party, that's a whole different thing than people soliciting sexual acts or favors at a party.
Okay.
So you're just paying to get to the party. Nothing is guaranteed. And what happens between two consensual adults, that's what happens between two consensual adults. So that's a different situation, as opposed to you're somewhere and they're saying, hey, well, you have to pay me for this, you have to pay me for that.
Okay.
But we're all just at the party and we just happen to hook up at the party. But we're promoting it as a party to where we're inviting people that are sexually liberated, that are in the lifestyle, that are open, and they're actually coming out to engage in sex socially and recreationally. So that changes the energy of the party as opposed to, because we've all had one night stands.
Yeah.
We've went to bars and picked up somebody, left with them, whether you wouldn't even make it out the bar and you in the bathroom with that person. But everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody, most people have had some type of encounter to where they met somebody out and about, they vibed and, and ended up with some type of sexual interaction, right? But we went to the bar just to go to the bar, right? We just went to hang out. When it comes to the mentality of someone that's in a lifestyle, I'm going to a place to indulge in sexual activities socially. I'm going there. And if I don't indulge in those activities, it's because I didn't find somebody I was interested to. So that's a big difference between me randomly meeting somebody and us hooking up and leaving, as opposed to me getting dressed saying, okay, I'm bringing condoms with me. I'm bringing a play bag with me. I'm planning to play, but I just so happen to not find someone I'm attracted to or that I vibe with them, then I didn't play.
I'm thinking about having a sex party housewarming or a birthday party sex party invite only. What is the liability? Like, how could I hold people accountable as far as like bringing test results or, let's say somebody doesn't hypothetically give consent, or say they didn't give consent and something happens. I don't want it to fall on me at the end of the day.
So that's a fine line, because the one thing about consent, it can be retracted any second. Right. So you have to make sure that you have people that are in the right space to be in that type of party. So when you start inviting people, and what happens is you need to invite seasoned people that you have vetted, that they understand what they're coming to, right? They understand this is a lifestyle party. People are going to be playing, and you have to give consent to someone, and then they have to know that they can take the consent at any moment. People are humans at the end of the day. You can vet people. You can go through all the rules. You never know when you're going to invite somebody that's just going to say that's comes with evil intentions. But just like the swingers clubs, they don't require you to bring paper, right? Anybody can come as long as you sign up and you pay and you get in. And they create the spaces where you're able to play. So it's a risk doing that anywhere. I don't care where it is. And that's at a higher level because they have security, paid security walking through. You have to sign up, give your government name. They scan your ID. So it's a lot different. You're not scanning people's ID at a house party. You see what I'm saying? So they have they have more resources to be able to track down somebody if something happens. They have cameras in there as you come in, you know what I mean? So you think about that type of space and it's still not safe. You know what I mean? There was a swingers club that I know that a girl did get assaulted at, being drunk. So it happens. You know what I mean? This, like, what you do is you try to mitigate the danger as much as you can by vetting people, by being selective who you want to let into the party. You know what I mean? That's why the smaller stuff is always more safer, because you might say, okay, I got 10 friends. I know each one of these people. There's no random people. We all have some type of attractiveness to each other. Let's do this party together amongst, the people that have all agreed and consented that we're all interested in this. When it comes to that wanting to make money off of it, we start to invite random people when people come in, and it
I don't want
becomes
to
less
make no
safe.
money off it. I just want to have a nice little intimate setting.
But then you just got to make sure that you talk to all the people, communicate. Everybody knows what they're coming for, and don't just have somebody bring somebody random like, oh, well, they didn't tell me. Because you always see somebody at the club, and it's always a woman that's like, I didn't know what I was coming to. He just invited me out. And that always happens at a party. Somebody just comes, they say, oh, let's go to a party. This is going to be an adult party, but they don't explain fully. So that communication aspect has to come into play.
Right. So who was the first person you felt comfortable opening up to about your BDSM kink?
My BDSM kink? It would have been my partner at the time.
Okay.
So because I saw it and I was like, yo, I like that. I like what I see. So my partner at the time is the first person, but I'm an open person. So like my mom knows what I do.
Really?
So yeah, I walk in, she's like, you still spanking ass? She'll say stuff like that. Like, and she'll even brag to her friends, like, you gotta see what my son does.
Right.
So she'll do that. But I've always been an open book.
Do you educate her on like?
Yeah, she asks, and I'll explain, what I do. Like, I don't really show her a lot of the videos. Some of the stuff that's more open to come out publicly. But my mom was like my best friend, so it's a different situation. But she always would say, "You've always been a ladies' man since you were younger." so she would expect something like that from me.
Okay.
Because I've always been a social person. I've always been able to talk to women, and that's one of the reasons why I excel at the power exchange, because I'm able to have that energy transfer with people on the fly. You know what I mean? So that's how it works for me so fluently.
Hopefully, I can find more kinks throughout this episode. We got voyeurism, we got role play, we got the golden of the showers.
The golden of the showers.
What else is out there?
There's so many kinks. So you have like one of the things that a lot of women like, praise kink. That is a big one that I introduced a lot of women to. They didn't understand that.
I didn't even realize that was a kink.
That is the actual kink, and that can turn you on. So you just imagine, and I use this because I'm into oralism, to where, that's the sounds. So that's a heavy kink for me. I like to hear the moans. I like to hear the sound of the pussy just wah, 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 you know what I mean? Or the girl giving oral, and it's the mac and cheese. They got the song about it. But we are turned on by those type of sounds. Even when you hear ass cheeks smacking, say like you come into your house and you hear the neighbors and you turn the music down, hold up, is that the neighbors getting it in? Right? But we like to hear stuff like that. You know what I mean? So even talking, people, phone sex operators, it's a reason why people call and they want to hear, they'll pay just to hear somebody talk. Right. Forget the whole what they're saying, but just the sound of their voice, the tone of their voice. You know what I mean? So oralism, you're turned on by sound. So that's one of my kinks. And just getting to the point of talking to somebody and praising them with a nice tone, and then you add a sensory overload. I'm doing erotic asphyxiation. I got my hand around your throat, right? I'm whispering in your ear, and I'm calling you a pretty princess. And then I'm telling you to tell me you're a pretty prince. Tell me you're a pretty fucking princess. Tell me how fucking sexy you are. Look at me. Tell me how fucking sexy you are. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now I'm encouraging you. I'm giving you words of affirmation, right? And now you're getting turned on, but then I'm also adding different aspects of play, because I have my hand around your throat. I might be gently running my hand on your back, but then I'm also giving you verbal praise. So I'm creating a sensory overload. So verbal praise is a high one, but me, I always want to create a sensory overload. So I'm going to add something else to it. I'm not just going to call you pretty. I'm going to call you pretty with my hand around your throat. I'm going to have a vibrator on your pussy. And I'm going to keep complimenting you and make you beg the orgasm. You see what I'm saying? You got cock queens, cock olds.
Oh, yes.
Stuff like that. Simple stuff like that.
How many kinks are there?
Man, listen, when I research, I see thousands of different stuff. But then also you have a lot of fetishes. So I kind of blend them together. Because to me, finding a kink is anything under the fetish and kink realm. Okay. You know what I mean? You might get somebody, oh, that's technically a fetish. We're all doing the same thing. You know what I mean? We're going to say that's a kinky thing anyway. You know what I mean? So there's so many of them. It's not even like a cap to it.
Is this a fetish or a kink? I think I said on the podcast already, I done sniffed some drawers.
Oh man, I wish you would have said that, because I just put something up about I just put one up about the armpits. It was a kink for the armpits I just posted recently. And then there's a kink for wanting to smell body odor, right? Wanting to smell odors from the vaginal areas, and you're turned on by that. But see, now I got to go back and research it again and see what the actual name, because some of them names be crazy. Insane. You know what I mean? Some of them names be crazy.
So what are some common kinks that men like that you feel like women don't know about?
Most men have basic kinks. Okay. Just the power exchange thing is one of the simplest, just, wanting to be in a dominant position. For me, it's a little different because like my kinks are crazier. So, so common kind of goes out the window,
Yeah.
But there are a lot of men that want to have stuff done to them and are not okay expressing that. Do you know what I mean? Like they want to be in a submissive state. They want to be in a situation to where they're getting their nipples played with or something like that, or nipple torture. I know a friend that's in the ball and cock torture. You know what I mean? So he likes testicles, he like testicle pain. And he asked me if I know any women that are into that. And I'm like, I have a shitload of women that, will kick you in your balls for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? But people pay for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to them about coming to their partner and being open without the feeling of being judged?
So there's a couple of ways you can approach that. My first thing would be research what you're into. Okay. If you have a kink, you can find it and identify it. Okay. Right? This is what I try to do for people. Somebody tells me about something they're into, and I try to identify it and put a definition behind it. So a lot of the kinks that I put up, people are messaging me like, "Oh, I'm into this. What is this?" And then I'll go research it, and then I'll put it up that next day. Right. You know what I mean? So research something that you're into. Don't be scared to go down that rabbit hole and educate yourself, right? Now, when you approach your partner, you want to make sure that you have that conversation and that you're able to communicate that and just say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" You know what I mean? "Hey, I saw this on this guy, Sir Leezus page. This is crazy. What do you think about this?" You see what I'm saying?
And y'all need to follow his page. He shares a lot of the sex facts. He shares a lot of kinks. It's not just he's posting random shit. He's actually informing us.
And also, when you do talk to your partner, sometimes you gotta be passive about it because you don't know how they're gonna respond. You know what I mean? You never know how somebody's gonna respond to it. And a lot of us don't have open-minded people that we're dealing with.
Right.
Everybody's not sexually liberated. Everybody doesn't operate in a sex positive space. So sometimes you might express you're into something and your partner might look at you like on some weird type shit. That happens. Yeah. Like that happens, but that might be a decision you have to make. Like, can I deal with this person? Am I really satisfied sexually with this person not being open-minded? I get a lot of women that are on my page that tell me about them being married for 20 years, 15 years, and being in relationships to where they were kink shamed. Even the smallest thing, bringing a toy into the bedroom, was not okay with their partner.
Yeah. So what do you recommend for women like that? To leave?
So sex shouldn't define your relationship. I don't know, and that depends on how high somebody values that, right? So, but how long can you be with someone that you're not sexually satisfied?
Not long.
So
that leads you to cheating.
Yeah, or you might be a person that sex is not a priority. It's not on the top of your priority list.
Oh no,
my
libido is extremely high. I need to have sex on the regular, which might also help with people who's not having a great sex life.
Yeah.
Maybe going to polyamory or
that could.
So that's our chemistry class, our relationship segment is breaking stereotypes about non-traditional love. And my question to you is, what's the most annoying question people ask you about being in a polyamorous relationship?
The most annoying question. Let me see. The most annoying question that we'll probably say would be, she doesn't get jealous.
Okay.
So that's probably the most annoying question that I get asked all the time. Or they'll say, that couldn't be me. I'm not sharing my... Okay, well, this is the reason why you're not poly.
Right.
That kind of like defeats the whole purpose of it, is being able to share energy with another person, being able to love more than one person. And I always tell people, you have to separate, because I'm in both communities. I'm in a poly community. I'm in a swinger community. And you have to understand that poly is relationship-based. It's emotion-based. It's energy-based. Swingers are sex-based.
Okay.
So it's the big difference between if I link up with someone that's in a swinger community and we might be interested in a play date, let's go have a drink. So we're linking up to see if we vibe to go fuck. As opposed to poly, we're linking up to see if we vibe to date. So it's not motivated by sex. So anything poly should not be motivated by sex.
Have you always been poly, or have you been...
I mean, when I came out the womb, I was like, nah, I'm playing. I needed 2 nurses to handle it. So, nah. I was introduced to it around the same time I was introduced to the swinger lifestyle. So I've dated poly off and on. You know what I mean? I've been introduced to different communities. I've met several wonderful women that I've dated. And for reasons just like regular personal dating reasons didn't work. Nothing that had to do with the actual poly dynamic. But life is life. You don't click with everybody forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've dated several people in our life. So that's not excluded from the poly community. You know what I mean? It might be something, my end game may not look like their end game. They might want to buy a house. I might be okay with having an apartment. You see what I'm saying? They might want to move out to a different area. I might be content with being in Philly. You see what I'm saying? So
for someone who's interested and might sign up for poly, what advice can you give them to say, all right, this lifestyle is for you? Because I'm at the point where, not at the point, but I once considered, like, I have two guys, right? I have the guy who is there for me emotionally.
Okay.
But I have the other guy who's a fuck nigga. But one guy is more for compatibility, the other guy is more for chemistry.
Okay.
And I'm like, I could do both. I could be in a poly relationship with both of them. Ideally, but I'm still selfish and I'm not able to handle that mentally. So for people that are struggling with the idea of monogamy or want to be in a poly relationship, what can you tell them?
So the first thing would be is putting yourself in a space to where you're able to start off at a baseline where you're communicating with two people. It's hard when you're working if you already have a partner and now you're somebody that you were dealing with, now you're trying to bring them together. Right. So I'll tell people there's communities where you can meet people and date them together. Like I can have a first date with two women at the same time because you put yourself in these communities and people have that mind state that they're looking for a poly relationship. So my first thing is going against the grain. Are you introducing two women that have never been exposed to it into poly? Are you introducing your partners and neither one of them have been exposed to it? Or have I met two people, right, that have been in poly relationships, so they understand it from the baseline.
Right.
Now, how can this dynamic work? So that's one of the hardest things. A lot of us I might be poly, but I might meet two women that are not poly. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm introducing two women for the first time, and there's so many factors that got to come into play. I got to make sure that they vibe. I got to make sure they're okay knowing that I'm going to have a different connection with one, and I'm going to have a different connection with this one. So when the feelings get involved, how do you respond to that? Because everything is good when you're just normally dating, right? But then as soon as you get to that point where you have feelings, everything changes because now you start looking at stuff different, right? That's just like when you meet someone and you're okay with them flirting on social media, and as soon as you catch feelings, now it's like, why you got to like everybody's picture?
That part.
You see what I'm saying? But that's because your feelings started to kick in, right? And now you start thinking about stuff and, now you want to make sure that, you feel secure in your relationship. You want some reassurance from them. But before that, it didn't matter. So it's the same thing with poly. Like we can date, if you start off sexually, that's always one of the worst things to do. Start off having a sexual encounter because, you're having sex with multiple people when y'all are in this orgy type, this threesome type situation, and it's fun. But then you have to focus on the mental aspect of it. You know what I mean? What does your journey look like? How do you see yourself with your love life and dating in the next 5 years? Yeah. It's easy to get those lines blurred when it's motivated by sex. That's why I always tell date two people first. The two people that you're talking to, take them out together. See how they vibe together. See if someone gets jealous. See if you're able to give either one. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're able to give either one of them attention in front of the other person and see how they respond to that. It might be a situation where they're cool with it. It might be like, yo, like, what's up? Like, you brought me out here and you're kissing on this person. And that might happen. But you have to put it out there. But do it in a space before you invest time. And people and everybody catch feelings. And now when you bring them together, now it's going left for you.
How do you maintain the emotional and the physical energy for multiple people in a relationship? Because I could be drained by one person in a relationship and I got my own issues. So I don't have time for an extra person. How are you able to be there?
So me personally, I have two partners. They're in two different states.
Okay.
Right? But the thing with me, my partners, both of them bring me peace of mind in their own way.
Okay.
So that's what I look for. I wouldn't be able to do this if I have a partner that I'm not able to create a space to where they're allowing me to have peace of mind. I got a crazy schedule. I'm traveling all over the place. I'm in a different city 3 weekends out the month. So when I'm down, I need to be in that space that I can be vulnerable. That's one thing a lot of people don't understand. If you don't have a partner you can be vulnerable with, that partner is not for you. I promise you. I don't care how tough you are, how hard you look out in person. You have to have a space where you can take a deep breath and be vulnerable. If you have an issue, you don't have an answer for something, you have a partner that you're able to, have that conversation with. And a lot of people don't, understand that. You know what I mean? I'm a person that, I'm a dominant figure. I got a lot of people that look to me for advice, but I don't have the answer. I'm human. I don't have the answers to everything. So I have to I have to have some type of entity where I can sit down and be like, hey, listen, I'm kind of stuck here. I'm lost. That's me being vulnerable off the camera, right? Outside of what you see on social media. So for me, my partners provide that type of mental space for me. You know what I mean? So I'm able to, it's a downtime for me when I'm with them. You know what I mean? So now with that, I have to distinguish, okay, I'm going to see one for a couple of days. I'm going to see the other for a couple of days. Then I'm going to be home for a couple of days.
So you're not all together.
So we started off all together. And then now it's kind of like a parallel. Like I date one on one side, I date one on the other side. So that they know about each other. You know what I mean? The communication, hey, I'm going to be up my one partner's house for a couple of days. Then when I leave there, I'm going to come to you. Then I'm going to go home.
Okay. So let's say I was in a poly relationship, right? Yeah. And it's all three of us together, one big happy family. But then one person's not feeling the other person. Like, oh, this person's doing too much. And the other two people want to break up, but I still want to be with both of them. How would I navigate that situation?
So my first thing would be to put yourself in a space to where you have a parallel relationship to where they coexist, but they're not interacting with each other. Keep that communication and know, okay, I'm going to deal with this person. As long as you respect my other partner, you don't have to engage with them at all. As long as the other partner respects you, as long as I respect both my time with you, my time with this person, it shouldn't be no issue. Now, if this person is completely like, I'm jealous about that, whatever, that may not be a person you can have a poly with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you might get into a space to where you have to make that decision because the best thing would be everybody getting along, right? Everybody coexisting, your two partners having a relationship, you having a relationship with them, and then y'all have one together. And even if your two partners can go hang out on their own and build that type of bond, whatever, that would be the perfect ideal situation, right? But sometimes it doesn't work like that.
So I would say one of the biggest misconceptions are there are no boundaries in a poly relationship.
That's a good one. There's definitely boundaries. Every dynamic is different.
Okay.
You know, every dynamic looks different. Yeah. So it just got to be what works for you and what works for the other entities. It might be 2 other people. It might be 5 other people. You know what I mean?
You got 5 other people in a poly relationship?
They're to be honest, you can't really put a limit, to what works for a person.
Now, do you believe a person should be in a poly relationship if they can financially afford it?
So it depends on what that dynamic looks like. Am I taking care of the person, or are we combining our money? Do I make $100K, she makes $100K, and she makes $100K? Now we have $300K, or is my $100K supposed to take care of them because maybe they only make $30K? You see what I'm saying? Okay. So that's a big difference. You never know. But then it has to be agreed upon because I can understand someone that has it. Who's the one? Neo is poly, right?
Yes.
But he's the breadwinner. He's a platinum selling artist, right?
Everybody.
He's not expecting one of them women to, help out financially, but that's in a different space. Yeah. Now, if you see somebody sees that and they say, "Oh, this is what I want," I'm not Neo. I don't have Neo money, right? But if I'm getting into a situation, we need to be able to better each other as well. You see what I'm saying? But that's just like dating because you can meet a woman and she's like, I expect my man to pay all of the bills, hands down, which that's 100% understandable if that's what you want. But like I said, if I make $100K, you make $100K, we talking about Philly numbers, not New York numbers, $100K. Y'all different up here with y'all tax brackets.
You need $300K up here.
It's a lot different. Y'all minimum wage is like, our minimum wage in Philly is like $6 an hour. Yeah, so
Elias, you tell.
I'm dead serious. This is maybe like $6.15 or $7. Y'all like 18
in Philly?
Yeah, so our cost of living is a lot lower. You see what I'm saying? So $100K in Philly, you can then live like you rich. Up in New York, that's like working at McDonald's damn there. Like it's crazy how the difference is. But just to give an example, so I can meet someone that makes, $100K, I make $100K, right? And now we got $200K together. as opposed to you expecting my 100K to cover everything.
Right.
But now we got to live to the means of making 100K instead of living in the means of us with a combined income.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But everybody doesn't operate in that space, and it's okay if you are a person that says a man should provide everything. That's 100% fine. But me personally, I want you to add so, you know, we can elevate together. You see what I'm saying? Now, if it's 3 of us, now we got a 300K salary. You see what I'm saying? We're able to afford more. We can go from an apartment. Now we might have a, you know, a 4-bedroom house in a nice area. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people don't think like that.
Do you get jealous?
Do I get jealous?
Like, are your partners allowed to have other men?
So I have dated and had partners that have talked to other guys. It just depends on that particular person.
Okay.
So one of the longer relationships that I was in, she was able to date couples.
Okay.
So she dated a couple. You know, it was a guy and a girl, and I was okay with that. So it really just depends on how we sit down and we have the conversation, we communicate. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not encouraging, saying, hey, you go get a man, whatever, but this is what you want. If this is gonna make you happy and we're in a space that'll work, so well, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
What are two more misconceptions about polyamory that people have?
2 more? So
Yeah.
we went over
the boundaries.
So the boundaries, that was a good one. A lot of thinking that it's about sex.
Okay.
And not understanding that it's about the mental connection. It's actually about dating. Like I said, you should never lead. Like a lot of people say, oh, you're just doing it to have sex with multiple. I'm a swinger. I can go to a club and do that every weekend.
Right.
And that's one of the big misconceptions. You're just doing it to have sex.
Okay.
I literally can do that without getting into a relationship. I literally can go to a club every weekend and indulge in some type of group activity with multiple women if I wanted to. The poly thing is about an actual sincere connection.
Okay.
It's relationship based. So a lot of people have that misconception thinking that poly is sex based. You see what I'm saying? That is sex based. And let me see, another one would probably be the financial thing, thinking that, you know, you need to have over a certain amount of money, you need to provide, the person needs to take care. That's not necessarily how it's going to work with everybody. It should be a partnership.
Okay. So do you think monogamy is overrated or just not your ministry?
No, I mean, I don't think it's overrated. I mean, because I know several people that are in the kink community that are monogamous.
Okay.
Right? Because BDSM doesn't necessarily involve recreational sex. You know what I mean? When you go to most of the dungeons, you can't have sex at most of the dungeons. You see what I'm saying? The swinger community is different. So it's nothing wrong with monogamy. Me personally, it doesn't work for me energy-wise. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, even if like I wasn't doing a poly, I have to have a partner that likes women and we can indulge in that type of activity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So do you think polyamory is the future of relationships, or is monogamy just too ingrained in societies?
I think monogamy is just way too ingrained because it's still a small community, right? But you're still going to have people that sign up for monogamous relationships and dip off and cheat. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's still too many people that are insecure, jealous. They can't handle somebody being with somebody else, as opposed to, you know, me being open and saying, hey, let's make this person our partner, or say, hey, let's do this together. Do you see what I'm saying? So,
and I think I could be open to it, but I think the dating pool has piss, feces, and human remains in it.
That's bad.
So it's hard to.
That's bad.
It's hard to find somebody that will be able to. I'm trying to find somebody that can match my energy first, before we could say, okay, let's move on to someone else. So I could possibly be open to it. It's just a matter of making sure I find the right person. But then trying to find 2 people and it's hard to find one.
But see, this is why you need to get into some poly groups, some poly communities. Go to poly meets and you meet people that are on the same wavelength as you. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to meeting somebody on Tinder or Facebook dating or something.
Okay.
And then trying to introduce them to poly. You meet people where they are. You see what I'm saying? If you want to date somebody that's a Christian, go to some type of Christian meet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't go to a Christian meet and try to convert somebody into being Muslim when you dating. You see what I'm saying? You meet somebody at that level. You get what I'm saying? If you want to find a person that's a swinger, go to a swinger meet. If you want to find somebody into BDSM, go to a munch. You see what I'm saying? Meet people at their level.
And this is more like, this go back to this thing, you know how they said when you want a date, you have to go outside, you just can't be on the apps. And you're saying like there's people out there, you just have to go to your club, your frat.
But you can find that online too.
Yeah.
There's so many poly communities online, and you just go to a meet. But then you think about it, everybody there has some type of interest in it. They're not new to it. Introducing people to it for the first time, it's an uphill battle. Now it may work, but why go against the grain though? If you have the opportunity to actually meet people that are already like-minded, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, how do you find your way, like during the holiday season? How do you balance the holiday season?
This is a good one. So this is a real good one because I just had this situation.
Okay.
So what I do is I try to say, okay, for example, I had my birthday,
Okay.
October 29th. So I said, okay, I'm gonna spend my birthday with one. Okay, I'm gonna come up with the other for Christmas.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna spend New Year. So I try to map like, hey, I'm gonna do Christmas with so-and-so, and New Year, I'll do Thanksgiving with you and maybe Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
damn, Valentine's Day is a hard one.
But see, me personally, I don't really celebrate no holiday.
Okay.
So I don't care about none of the holidays,
Right.
to be honest. You see what I'm saying? Except for Thanksgiving. That's probably because I like to eat.
No, that's my favorite.
But if you communicate and people understand, like you're getting a day, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really about everybody just, being open-minded to, what you're presenting. Also, just being able to compromise, because compromise is big. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just like it should be a situation to where if I decide to spend Christmas with my family instead of my partner, and she needs to go to another state because her family is there, we should be okay with that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
It's just another day. Like,
Makes sense.
You celebrate your partner every day. Why does it matter if we're not hanging out on Christmas, but we can hang out on New Year's, or we can hang out on your birthday or my birthday? You see what I'm saying? To me, it's just another day.
What advice would you give someone trying to break free from traditional relationship norms, but scared of judgment from the streets?
Find your people. Because you can't, the streets are going to judge, right? You know how much I'm judged for putting out everything out there? And even when I put out stuff that I just researched, right? Like I put out the cockhold thing.
Right.
And then people, I would never do that, bro. You tripping? I got to chat with my homies and they going in like, bro, what type of time you want? I said, bro, I'm just educating people. I'm not personally into that.
Right.
But I'm creating a sex positive space, right? A space for people to come under one of my posts and see other people indulging, engaging, and saying, hey, this is me. This is what I do. Now you feel comfortable. Now you're more welcoming. You're more welcome then. And you're able to say, damn, like I see these other people. It's not just me.
Yep.
Right? But you got to find your people. Like, that's why we go to munches, we go to meets. That's why we get on these, we get on my page and you see, my page is a sex positive page from start to finish.
Yes. Go follow him, y'all.
Yeah, it's from start to finish. You're going to find your kink and you're going to find other people that are into your kink. Then you're going to find your people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like I kink everywhere. Anywhere I go. When I'm at the bar, you see I have the find your, I'm able to walk into a bar with a shirt that says find your kink. And by the time I leave there, everybody sitting at the bar is buying tickets to my show because they want to come see, you know what I mean? Or they're asking me about a kink and I'm finding a forum, whatever, because I'm okay with going against the grain. I'm okay with addressing the elephant in the room. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are not comfortable doing that because they're scared of being judged. And that's 100% okay because that's normal to us, right? We don't want to be judged. We don't want the conflict. We don't want people looking down on us, whatever. So you have people like me. There's other sex positive people that will create that space or be that platform, be that stepping stone. I'll be the punching bag for people that are into that. I'm cool with it. I got tough skin, whatever. My personal kinks might be different than yours, but I accept your kink as long as it's legal.
When's your next show in New York?
The thing about the show in Philly is this is my show, my production.
Okay.
Anything else I'm booked for and somebody else is coordinating the event.
Okay.
So the Leezus experience, when you come to Philly, I do that every other month in Philly.
Okay.
That's where you come. That's where I have the burlesque dancers. I have the pole dance. I have the erotic poets. I have the fire play going on.
Fire.
And then I do my actual show. And then depending on when you come, I do a live squirt demonstration too. Depending on which one of the shows you attend, I do a live squirt demonstration.
You better do it the March the 29th because we will be over there.
But yeah, if you come, sit as closest to the front as possible. It's engaging.
Oh.
We got a squirt zone where we give you goggles when you come in. Now, we don't give you goggles, but you might get.
I thought y'all may need some.
And I'm going to tell you one of the best things, right? And when you come in, right, you get, if you consent to being engaged with, you get a rose. So anybody that has a rose has consented to being a part of the show. So beforehand, I'm identifying, so we see. So you have to give consent before the show to be able to be engaged with during the show.
Listen, classmates, we're going to take a field trip down there, and we're going to go to Philly March. Damn, I think I'm going to be in Denver, but I really don't want to go to Denver.
We'll do the next one. We'll keep pushing it.
No, I have a reason to say I can't go to Denver now because I got to Philly. Go. Damn, I just told myself on myself. All right, so we're going to go to our sex segment, which is our extracurricular activities, and I want to discuss aftercare and BDSM and what does it mean and why is it so vital. But before we get into that, I see you bought some toys over here.
Yeah, I always got a couple of things.
So this is, I can't see it, but it's a glove with...
So for sensory play. So this is what I call my Black Panther glove.
Okay.
So a lot of people see a lot of videos of me having this on. I use this for sensory play.
Okay.
Right, to create some type of sensual stimulation on the skin.
Okay.
Right? So when I do this, I usually have my hand around the throat. I'm creating a sensory overload, so I'm doing erotic asphyxiation. I'm taking this over parts of your body that I would kiss, that I would feel like are sensitive, bringing it up your leg, bringing it down your back. But if you feel the sharpness of it on the skin. So this is considered sensory play. Now, I can also...
I can get that from Amazon?
Not from Amazon.
No, like a sex store.
But you can come to my page and I can get it for you.
Okay.
Through I can get this through one of my sponsors, Kinky Hut. I have a sponsorship with Kinky Hut.
Okay.
So they provide a lot of toys that I use, a lot of the exclusive toys. But I call this the Black Panther glove. But it's good to take into the bedroom. But you can also, if you have electric wand unit, you can conduct electricity through the claws. If you have an electric wand unit, now you feel how that sensation is.
Yeah.
Right? So now imagine you running that down somebody's back.
While they intimate, and you choking them.
You see what I'm saying? So now you got that feeling, or you run it up their thigh. You're running it down their chest.
Because it's sharp, but it's not.
But it's not sharp enough to cut, but enough that you feel
a little.
The sensation.
And it's even like a little after feel. Or something.
Yeah. So.
Oh, this is fire.
Yeah. And then that's just my famous Sir Leezus paddle. And that's just the simplest thing in the world. Just wood. Just flat out wood. It's nothing like, nothing like spanking with wood.
And those splinters?
Nothing like spanking with wood. But here's another one. The claws that people see me use. So, and I tell people, this is one of the simplest toys that I have. And you can get this. These are meat shredders.
They who?
Meat shredders. You know how you shred meat?
Yeah.
But it makes for some of the best sensory play toys. The same way you would do that, but it's a little bit more intense. So try it on your arm.
Intense. Bumble clock.
So now you feel the difference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you feel the difference in that? So now you take two of them and you have them coming down the side of someone on their rib cage or up both legs.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just helped me find the kink.
So sensory play might be your kink.
So what is a psychological aspect of sensory play? Like what makes people like that?
So, but it's the actual feeling of it.
Yeah.
It's all feel. Yeah. It's all feel.
Especially if you're doing it so slow and intimate.
And then you add something else to it, like you're talking to that person. A lot of times when I'm doing sensory play, I have the girl do a Kegel, right? And she's doing a Kegel the whole time, and then I told her to release it with a moan. So that's a whole different sensation. Or I take this glove, right, and I run it down her chest, and I start from her neck. I run it down her chest, and I take a vibrator, and I put it on her pussy at the same time. So I have the vibrator here, and I'm running this down slowly, and I'm making her look at me. I'm making eye contact, and then I'm telling her to tell me what we doing. Praise kink, right?
Praise kink, yeah.
I'm telling her to tell me how pretty she is. You know what I mean? Tell me how fucking sexy you are.
People's not enjoying sex.
But you see, you have the wand there, whatever. Right. I have her doing a Kegel. I'm running this down her body. I'm having her talk to me. Tell me how sexy she is. Tell me how pretty she is. Right? And then I'm going to make her beg to come. And right when she's about to come, I stop. And then I do it all again. Because I'm doing orgasm denial.
Why you stop?
Because I'm doing orgasm, I'm denying her orgasm because I want her to build it up. I want her to edge and build it up. So when she does climax, it's more explosive. But see, that's the control you want to have so that when you start adding all that stuff together. So this
needs
is
to be studied,
sensory
people.
play. So that's how the sensory play. I'm leaders over here. So that's how the sensory play goes.
Okay. Do you believe that people exploring their kinks and their fetishes can lead to people being closer in their relationships?
Yes. Because you're vulnerable when you're opening up, right?
Right.
Anytime you open up to somebody, you make yourself vulnerable. And
For
you're
sure.
able to connect with somebody deeper. I'm letting you know something that I may not have been comfortable with my last partner. You see what I'm saying? We all have some things that we haven't expressed to a partner. The more comfortable, you know what I mean, more secure you feel with that person, you know, when you're safer with that person, you're like, okay, listen, I might be able to communicate and tell this person I'm into A, B, and C. You see what I'm saying? They might be into something that they weren't able or comfortable enough to express that with a previous partner.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely gonna make you connect more. You know what I mean?
So what about if you have a partner who's not so comfortable with what you're into? Should they at least try it once, or should they be like, nah? Like,
I mean, no, they don't have to try it. They may not be for you. You have to be okay with leaving that alone. Am I okay with not doing BDSM? No, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
If you're not into what, and then I don't even like, I do more like, I don't pull a lot of my stuff out with my partners.
Okay.
If they ask to do a session, I'll pull everything out. My stuff is packed up. You see what I'm saying? My connection, like I said, my connection is different. My personal connections are different. But you have to be okay with what I do.
You have a dungeon?
Do I have a dungeon? No, I don't have a dungeon.
I want to build my own sex dungeon in my house.
Now, in my living room, I have BDSM equipment. I'm not going to call it a dungeon. When you walk in, I have a spanking bench. I have the table there, whatever. So I'm a caveman. So it's just basic. I got an 85-inch TV and I got a spanking bench. So it's so simple. I got some erotic art hanging around, whatever. But it's so simple. So
is there such thing as being too vanilla in the bedroom, or is it just a result of unrealistic societal expectations about what sex should be like?
For me, yeah. Somebody like me, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll take you to a club and fuck you in front of 1,000 people. So I can't deal with someone that's not open-minded.
Yeah. And I do believe there's a thing of vanilla. I'm more like a Neapolitan. I'm a chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla kind of guy. Can I be in a relationship with somebody long term? No. But I need my partner to be sexually compatible with me. I don't know how to use all these tools and equipment, right? But I'm willing to learn.
You can learn though.
Right? And I need you to be willing to learn, because I do feel like the vanilla sex is just what it is. Vanilla, boring, plain. And I need us to build that intimacy and have it long term, because just doing the same positions, doggy, missionary, giving head the same time over and over, absolutely not. We can't do that.
I mean, you got to explore, and that's the whole thing. You got to find your kink, right?
Yeah, find your...
Definitely.
So for the vanilla type of people, what's a tiny kink that they can start trying?
So I usually say most people have practiced BDSM.
Okay.
Most vanilla people. So you think about this, right? Somebody they're being intimate with their partner. Most people have smacked their partner on the ass, right?
Impact.
Just a simple, that's impact play, right?
Right.
So when you smack someone on the ass, I'm actually inflicting pain on that person, right? So if I'm inflicting pain on someone and I'm getting turned on by it, that's a form of being a sadist. Think about it. A sadist gets pleasure from inflicting pain, right? So you don't think about it on that level, because you're just doing it. Now, if it really turns you on, then you're like, okay, damn, this is identifying the kink that this is a kink.
Right.
You know, I'm a sadist. I smack you in the ass. I get turned on by that. I'm really inflicting pain, and it's turning me on. Now, on the other end, this person is receiving this. They get hit on their ass. They're turned on by receiving pain. So that makes them a masochist, right?
Right.
Now, this is just a baseline form. Most of it, like even like in high school, when I smacked the girl on the ass, I wasn't thinking anything about BDSM or nothing like that. I pulled some hair, I bit a girl on the shoulder, like just, hand around the neck and all that stuff, whatever. We're inflicting pain in some type of way, and it's turning us on. And it's, she's getting turned on, I'm getting turned on, right? That's sadomasochism. Pleasure from inflicting pain, pleasure from receiving pain. And that's like one of the baseline concepts of BDSM, sadomasochism, S&M. Rihanna got the song, right?
Right.
S&M, right? That's one of the baselines. A lot of us have done that and not even known that we were engaging in BDSM. You see what I'm saying? So people, what you do is you take that and you try to push it to the next level. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You find different things to elevate that, right? Because sometimes the simple smack on the butt doesn't do it. You might have to bring a paddle in, right?
Yeah.
You might have to bring something heavier in. You get what I'm saying? So you're chasing that high. You know what I mean? It's the same way like with a drug. You might start off with something light and then you keep going, keep going, keep going. You see, that's the same way with that. You keep chasing that high.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So let's talk about the aftercare and why it's so important.
Okay.
And I just want to talk about aftercare and sex in general, but fuck that. I could do that another day. Let's talk about it with BDSM. Because after all this intense session, what exactly is aftercare and what does it look like?
So
is it emotional or physical?
Now, aftercare is different
Okay.
per person. You cannot have a one size fits all when it comes to doing aftercare.
Okay.
Because some people are okay with just to make sure, you know, a little bit of arnicare on you, you know, if you have broken skin or something like that, you know, do some first aid or something, ice pack, and then they're good. Some people need aftercare that lasts a week, right? Some people are emotionally distressed. But the one thing that I always say, you have to hold yourself accountable as a bottom, right? To express the type of aftercare that you need. You know what I mean? Because there are spaces to where you may not be able to get that provided depending on where you're accepting to play with somebody at.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I don't do a lot of casual. I don't do any pickup play. Let me just say that. Because I operate in spaces to where I might be paid to be there and I have to keep it moving with people.
Right.
So I express like, hey, you know, if you need extensive aftercare, this may not be the space for you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I can provide first aid, the basic aftercare, making sure you're cool, first aid, alcohol, anything, whatever.
Right.
You need some ice pack, whatever, sit down, do my talk through. I always see where you are mentally, right? See where you are physically. I see where you are pleasure-wise. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I go through that after every show, but then, you know, you got your pheromones that have been heightened, right? They're all released, right? Now, these are going through your body. People respond different to that, right? Now, when you start to lose them and they start to exit out your body, that's what we call sub-drop, right? You're in subspace when they're heightened,
right?
And sub-drop when they start to release. Now, people respond to that differently. Some people need to cuddle. Some people need to eat. Some people need to have sex, right? Some people just need to be in a space where they just need to be around that person, away from everybody, and just have that person's full attention.
Right.
But you have to know what you need, right? Sometimes your first time, you'll learn. Because I get people that might want to do private sessions and they don't know. And I'll say, you're not going to know what you need until you know what you need.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I can provide basic stuff. I can be here for you. But it might be a day later to where you're like, why am I missing him? Why do I feel abandoned? You see what I'm saying? Why am I in a space to where I want to cry and I don't know what it is? Like, he's not my man. We don't have that interaction. But I feel like I'm watching him interact with people online. I'm getting jealous.
That's great.
And, you know, I'm mentally distressed because of that. Because you went to subspace, then you dropped, and now you don't know how to handle them emotions. And you might need to be coached through that. But that's a deep space, but a lot of people don't know that have not been doing it. Like, I get a lot of people that want to indulge in this for the first time, right? So when you've done it for years and you know, say, hey, I can't do a scene unless he has time to cuddle with me or just be in my space for the next 3 hours. That's 100% okay. But that person identifies that and they're able to communicate that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a different type of space.
So how does a person communicate their aftercare needs to their partner?
So they should just, so if you know, you just tell a person, hey, I need this. I'm going to need, so always do the basic. Just check to see where they are mentally, ask them a couple of questions. Hey, where you at? Where you at pain-wise? Do we need to take you to urgent care? Because I might hit you with this paddle 100 times.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you have to ask where they are pain-wise. How do you, do I need to, we need ice packs for you? We need to run a bubble bath for you? Do we need to get you treatment that I can't give? Do we have to go to the emergency room? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Just depending on the type of play you do, because everybody is different. But it's just a simple fact of, hey, what does your aftercare look like? What do you need? Or, just say, hey, I just want to maybe cuddle. Or some people say, I want to fuck afterwards. And I can't help you. We can't do it. Because I don't operate in that space.
Wait, so that's a good question. So after you do all the impact play and the sensory play, electroplay. Does that eventually lead to penetration?
Not for me,
Okay.
because I'm doing stuff. I'm paid to be somewhere and
Okay.
service type an event, or somebody is booking a session.
Okay.
I don't do casual open play
Okay.
unless it's with my partners, and that's different.
So with your partner, it could lead to
no, I'm a fuck the shit out of my
okay.
partner, whatever.
Okay.
So that's different. And this is one of the bad things with me. I do this so much, I don't pull my stuff out, and it turns me on to do everything when I do it with
Okay.
my partner. But they have to ask for that because it's like work for me. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing it, but I don't even pull my stuff. Like, my toys are packed, ready to go.
Right.
Pull them out to clean them, pack them again, and they're ready to go for the next show.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what you mean.
So yeah. So if one of my partners say, "Hey, I want to get spanked," or "I want to go," if we go to a party and I bring my toys, I'm only gonna play with her.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna have that engagement with her, and I'm going to promote my likeness to everybody at the party, because they're gonna see it and they're gonna ask, and I'm gonna say, "No, you got to come to this event to get this."
So
Here's the card.
if a listener, supporter want to go book a session with you, what is a typical session? What does a typical session look like?
So a typical session is usually about an hour,
Okay.
right? And it consists of, I usually display all the toys. But before, when you fill out my questionnaire, you're able to pick if you want the whole ultimate experience, to where you want sensory play, you want impact play, erotic asphyxiation, electric play, forced orgasm, penetration. I'll penetrate with toys.
Okay.
I usually end my scenes with a squirt, making a girl squirt. A lot of people come because they never squirted. And I always say I have a 98% chance to make somebody squirt for the first time ever.
Wow.
If they've never squirted. It's basically 100% if they're squirters. If they're
Right.
avid squirters, I'm going to do it on cue.
Right.
But it typically looks like me talking them through everything. I'm going over, all the safety gestures and all that, telling them what the scene is going to look like, making sure they're comfortable, music is on, vibing,
Right.
and then going through the actual play. I have a bipolar play style, so I go from intense to hand around your throat, spanking you hard, to kissing you on your earlobe like I'm about to make love to you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I might give you verbal praise, but I might be hitting you with a bat on your ass. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a bipolar, off and on type of play style. It's very intimate. It's very engaging. It's highly based on energy connection.
Right.
So that's what separates me from a lot of the people that do sessions.
Okay.
That is standard, that is basic. They do a lot of stuff that they're skilled at, but they don't have that energy transfer. Do you see what I'm saying? So I have that intimate energy transfer, and that's what elevates a lot of my private sessions.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to our needs to be studied segment.
Okay.
And we're going to study choking, breath play, and the fine line between pleasure and danger.
Okay.
All right. So the first thing is, who shouldn't engage in breath play? Are there certain people with health conditions that should just avoid it completely?
I would say if you have asthma,
Okay.
I would just stray away from that. If you have asthma, you have a heart condition. What is the one thing? Epilepsy, I would say.
Okay.
Those are just off the top of my head that I would say, but you always ask, like, do you have any health issues? Most people that have extreme health issues, they're not looking to engage in that type of play.
Okay.
And then it depends on what type of choking. Are you doing a blood choke to where you're cutting off the blood circulation? Are you just doing something where you're just slowing down the breathing, or are you completely taking away the oxygen to where they completely can't breathe, where you're taking away the ability to breathe out your mouth or your nose? So a lot of people don't understand there's different ways that you quote unquote choke is it's too wide of a term. You see what I'm saying?
What makes it pleasurable instead of dangerous?
Erotic asphyxiation, because some people like that sense of the breath being lost, and it becomes erotic to them. You know what I mean? That sensation. You see what I'm saying? I'm not into that.
Right.
So someone that actually gets pleasure from that experience can go into details of how they personally feel about it, but everybody's different. You see what I'm saying? Because even like if you use impact, people are turned on by impact for different reasons.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it might be because they like the sensation, they like to feel pain, and something in their past may have forced them to cope pleasure and pain together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It might be the thought of being punished that turns them on. Everybody is different. It might be a physical thing, it might be a mental thing. Same thing with erotic asphyxiation. It might be a mental thing. You got a lot of people that like to feel like I'm close to death, and that's a turn on to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some people, the choking slows them down, and they're able to feel stuff more. So they want sensory play at the same time they're getting. So everybody is different. I know people that can only be choked when they have penetration at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So everybody is different. It's not a one answer for everyone.
So what are some clear signs when someone's what are some clear signs that someone's pushing it too far where breath play can be dangerous?
Well, somebody passes out.
Yeah, okay.
Some people want to pass out, but you should, if you do
Want to
that,
pass out?
they want to get choked till they pass out, and that can be dangerous. Passing out from loss of you're losing oxygen
Right.
to the brain, so that can be situation that can end up deadly. So me personally, I only know what I do, and I don't choke until someone passes out. I don't do blood chokes. Right. Whatever, I don't completely take away the breath. I do just enough to where I'm slowing you down. I'm not actually applying pressure to your neck. I'm just holding my hand there and slowing down the breathing. So it's a little different for me what I do compared to other people.
That I don't play with death. Like when I say I don't even jump in large bodies of water, I don't play with God and Mother Nature. So I don't want to risk it. We don't kink shame over here. But to find a kink, I lost that one. And that one lost me, God damn it. So where is the safest place to apply pressure when choking? And
so the safest place would be your hand on the neck and just holding it there. You're not squeezing your hand. You're just holding it there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you keep your hand there and you kind of push a little towards, just enough that you're slowing down the breathing. You feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not squeezing. So a lot of people want to squeeze, right? But you see what you're doing?
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So you don't want to squeeze. You just want to hold it there. Just enough. Yeah.
Okay. I could do that.
Yeah.
But no, get your hands off my neck.
Yeah, a lot of people go when they want to squeeze. They're squeezing the blood vessels. And you want to stray away from that. If you want to do the safest thing, it's more of an erotic choke. So your hand is just placed around the neck just enough to slow it down, so they feel your presence. They're basically just feeling your presence.
So that way you would say is the safest way to introduce.
That would be, if you're going to choke, that would be the safest way.
Okay.
There is no, let me say this, the safest. There's no safe way.
Yeah, to play with your breath.
The hands down, I'm going to say this, there is literally no safe, choking is choking.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This is not something that you just do for fun, right? Just unless you have educated yourself and you communicated, whatever, you know what I mean? There's no safe way. You got to think about it. So the safest, so you got to, the language is different, right? The safest way to do it. So it's dangerous. Any way you do it is dangerous, but that's the safest way.
What's the safest way to do electric play?
Ooh, do not electrocute nobody's eyeballs. No, I'm playing. I'm joking. Make sure let me stop. So you got to make sure that nobody has any type of electronic implements inside their body, like a pacemaker.
Oh.
Even when I don't even do, if somebody has like the diabetes thing, even that, because I don't know how it would affect that. You try to stay away most times, depending on how strong your device is, you want to stay away from the heart, right? Just depending on, because some people have some very strong tools, right? Nothing on the head, to me personally, nothing on the face, anything like that. I don't do any of that. And I want to do like the arms, the breasts, the legs, the thighs, but it's just a matter of keeping it at a certain level to where, it's respectable for the person that you're doing it with. But then there's, you have, you're buying toys that don't have that many volts. So it's not like you're putting your hand into a wall socket. Right. So it's different. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's meant to be used on the body.
Well, and this is the last segment. Before we close out, it's the homework assignment. And this is where you have to give us advice, right? So what's your number one piece of advice for anyone looking to have the best BDSM experience?
I would say figure out what you're into in your regular life, sexually, and take that and Focus on that right there.
Okay.
You got to focus on what turns you on that you know. And then you take that, you branch from there. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect example, if you like to be spanked, that's technically impact play.
Right.
So you start with that as a baseline. You always got to start with a baseline. And then research the different types of impact play. You know, where you can get impact play, what toys you can use for impact play. You might go from spanking, and then you might find out that flogging is one of your kinks. You like to be flogged. You might like sting as opposed to thud. So you might end up liking whips.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But you start with a baseline. So whatever it is, start with a baseline. If you like to be choked, start with that baseline and then start to explore erotic asphyxiation. You know what I mean? You might end up getting waterboarded by somebody.
Okay.
Because that's, basically a part of erotic asphyxiation because you're being choked with water, whatever. But that is an extreme kink. But you're starting with a baseline. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You might like bedroom BDSM. You might like to be told what to do in the bedroom. And that's your baseline. Then you end up being a 24/7 submissive. But you started with orgasm control, the person controlling your orgasm when you can come, when you can touch yourself. That may have been your baseline. And now you end up being a 24/7 submissive. You see what I'm saying? You might like a finger in your butt. Then you go to a butt plug. Now you're getting fisted. But your baseline was a pinky. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So start with your baseline.
Now, have you ever put a fist in someone's butt?
I put a fist in a vagina. I put my foot in a vagina. That's one of my kinks.
What size shoes?
14. So I have a series of videos to where girls ride my foot. The first time I've ever had it done, the girl rolled my foot and went down to the ankle. Now
can we get a full? Can you put your foot up?
Are we going to go?
This is a size 14 foot.
Size 14. There we go. Size 14.
This is a clip, by the way. I just want you to know that.
That's cool. But I haven't had, but I do have a couple viral videos to where a girl's riding my foot, doing erotic asphyxiation, and then she's squirting all over my foot and my ankle. So that's one of my personal kinks is a girl worshiping my foot. I like the whole, the getting the pedicure, right? The whole treatment, the washing it down, the lotion it, the sucking on the feet, whatever, so, and then put your pussy on it. Simple as that.
Wow.
So that's my biggest kink that is out of the normal.
And thank you.
We're going to show you. I'm going to show you the video as soon as we get off here. I'm going to show you the video.
Where can the people find you in these videos? Ooh. And if they want to book you for a session, tell them where you at.
So all you got to do is Google me. Google Sir Leezus. That is the best way because Google does not shadow ban nobody. So you Google me, I will pop up in Google. But if you want to go to Instagram is my most active page. So it's SIRR.LEEZUS. Or sirleezus.com. Go to sirleezus.com. Got some free giveaways there.
Okay.
You might get some free tickets to a show. But you can sign up for my email list and you can find all my social media platforms through my website.
I'm gonna try to make it to the show in Philly.
When I tell you it's a whole vibe like no other, I promise you, it is a vibe.
And y'all DM me if y'all interested in going, because I would definitely be there. I want to see this.
So what I'll do is I'm gonna comp you and 2 random guest tickets to the show. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, thank you.
So so when you post this, if anybody shares the video, I got you. I'm gonna comp. You pick 2 of your supporters and you bring them down to Philly, and we're gonna have
a field trip.
They gotta sit in the front row though. They ain't gotta sit in the front row. I'm playing.
Listen, you would Chalet, I'm calling you out. Fatu, I'm calling you out. Deja, I'm calling you out. Y'all are the ones that came to my head first, but let's go. We outside.
Be outside.
Well, thank you for coming. I learned so much, and I appreciate it. And I know my supporters learned a lot.
I appreciate you.
And guys, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you find your kink.
Find your kink. You gotta show it to them right here.
Yeah, find your kink.
Make sure they move
the mic. Yeah.
For the mic. Make sure you find your kink. There you go.
Make sure you find your kink, okay? Because I just found my kink. I think I found my kink today. I'm gonna research sensory play, and I might have to invest in some tools and find the person that do it. And if you want to book a session, book it with him. Go on his website. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and tell a friend, tell a friend. Holla. Thank you so much.